Welcome back, everyone. I've got Jerry Schluswitz with me, Pacific Financial Planners, who always have amazing, valuable information. And I know you're a little bit fired up this morning about Social Security. I don't know if you want to talk about that, but I do want to welcome you to the show, Jerry. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Bree. It's lovely.
Nice to see you,
Nice to
as
see you,
always. And I do appreciate all of the valuable information. I learn a lot from you, and I know that our viewers do too. And the thing that you want to talk about today, well, one of the things is design versus default. I mean, look at what's happening in our world today. How can you possibly plan for a retirement when gas prices quadruple overnight?
You know, Bree, I mean, that's a great question. It's a great way to pose the question. But that's the problem that a lot of people have, is they think that they don't have control over any of that. You understand what I'm saying? How can you plan for that?
Yep.
You can, and you should, and you must. That's the thing about design versus default, okay? Is if you design your retirement properly, things like whether or not there's bombing tonight and the market drops another 10, 20, 50% from here, you don't necessarily have to worry about, and you shouldn't worry about, if you properly design your retirement. Okay, so I was at the Health and Wellness Expo like a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, and I literally had people come up to me. Now, I've been doing this over 4 decades, right? And I had people, I'm an expert, so I'm like, I think of myself like the best oncologist in the world, except for in the world of finance. Right. And I had people come up to me say, hey, I don't even look at my statements anymore because of, you know, I'm afraid, okay? Right. Another woman just, well, this is what I do. She literally did that. And I asked her, I said, would you say that to your doctor after they told you you had, you know, a serious problem? You know, yeah, let's do this. You can actually design your retirement to go through periods like today and not have any worries at all. But people go by default and they get one shot at retirement, but they don't plan for it. See, there's a whole field of preventative medicine. You know, you got 95% blockage. We don't do that. We say, okay, I can't put a stent in someone's heart, and just like you can't probably figure out this finance thing, you know, any better than our viewers out there. They can't. They don't know like a 40-year professional knows. And so, but you can put a stent in there, and gosh, you could live another, you know, 50 years. So it's the same thing with your retirement plan.
But meanwhile, you're still eating donuts every morning.
That's, yeah.
Exactly.
Good one.
So tell us about what is the biggest mistake that retirees are making?
Well, you know, they focus too much on growth. They're worried about the market. What's Trump going to do today? You know what I mean? Are we going to bomb them? Is the gas price going to go up? Is the market going to go down? Are we going to lose troops that would probably make the market go down? They're focused on growth. What they really need to do is design for income and safety. They have no plan for that. So if the market goes up, they're happy. If the market, that's not a plan. What you need is a paycheck. When you're working, you have income. You know, you and I would get income, all right? But most of our viewers, they don't have income coming in. Yeah, they get Social Security, and if they're lucky, they have a pension. But is that enough to cover all your expenses? A lot of them don't even know their expenses. So they've got to have a plan, a design for their personal retirement.
I know we're going to get to it, but what is the real risk that we're facing today? Is it just that they don't have it in black and white? They don't see what's coming in, what's going out? What are you finding is the real risk?
Well, that's flying blind. I mean, if you don't see what's coming in and going out, and you have a bank account or and credit cards and statements from your brokerage firm, you actually can see what's coming in and going out. So, I mean, like if you don't see it, that's again that retiring by default. Well, I just, you know, I pray, I hope. But a lot of people think it's the market is the biggest risk. Like, what's going to happen to the market? Is it going to go down some more? Those moves are temporary, and that doesn't mean you should keep your money in the market. But the bigger risk is people are living longer, Bree. Oh. And so longevity is the risk. There's going to be more bad markets over time if you live long enough. There's going to be more healthcare problems for you if you live long enough. Right. There's going to be more things. You having no income plan to what if I live to 95 or 100, how is my money going to last? They don't have that figured out. And that's the problem. They've got to plan for longevity. I talk about these buckets of money. A liquidity bucket for emergencies, an income bucket, that we were just talking about, to cover your expenses. Okay, I get Social Security here, but my expenses are here. What's that gap?
Right.
I get it from this specific bucket that has nothing to do with the market. And then you have an extended bucket that's to cover those future costs if you live to 95, or this gas price has tripled. Well, you've got an extended bucket for growth that fills in the other two.
Right. Would your advice be to almost work backwards? Let's just pretend we're going to live till 95, 98. Can you help your clients work backwards so that they would know how much money they're going to have for those later years?
Bree, I want to bring you on board. I mean, I know you're great at your job, but you could actually, that's exactly how you do it. You know, it's perfect, basically. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to work your way backwards. See, people, you plan for the future. Well, it doesn't exist. They do this again. You know what I mean? I don't want to see it. But it's reality. What are you going to do if you do? So what's that going to cost? And I've got this book coming out that, called Your Retirement Paycheck, and it talks about the inflation rate. So if it's $1,000 today, at 3%, 4% inflation, or 5% inflation, how much are you going to need in 10 years or 20 years? As people go, well, I'm not going to live 20 more years. Well, if you're 75, you got a pretty good shot at it. Pretty good shot at it. If you're younger than 75, man, you got a lot longer than that. So you've got to work backwards, figure out what's it going to cost you down the road, and where are you going to get those sources? So again, you need liquidity for today, you need income for today, but you need a third bucket, a third tranche of money that covers how you're going to pay for 95.
Right.
And the best way is to work backwards. So that was great, Bree.
And I also think, you use the example of one of your clients covering her eyes because it's so scary to look at what is not there, right? But at the same time, Jerry, it's super empowering to have that spreadsheet, to know what you're spending every month, to know what's coming in every month. And I mean, even if it's something that you have to look at daily to sort of reprogram that mindset that, yeah, I am the one in charge. That's not in charge of me, right?
You are awesome, Bree. It is a mindset change that has to happen from when you were saving, when you were 30, 40, 50 years old, to when you're retiring. It's a complete different set of rules to have that income structure in place, because you've got a saving structure when you're putting money in your 403b, 401k, in your retirement, your IRAs. But when you're drawing it off, it's not, well, it's just the opposite. You work when it went in, yeah, it won't work when it goes out. It's called reverse dollar cost averaging. So you've got to have it strategy. You can't do this. You can, but let me tell you a quick story. I know we got to go here, but there was a story of the Ford Pinto, all right? A famous car, it wasn't like it was a great car or anything, but it had a flaw in it where if you got rear-ended, the gas tanks were back there and it could explode and catch fire and kill the people in it.
Wow.
All right? And they knew of that flaw. The Ford Motor Company knew of the flaw. That's what made it so famous, and yet they went with it anyways.
No,
all right?
really?
People know that this is not a good idea, to not look at your statements. They fear the unknown. They figure they can't control it, so no one else can either, as opposed to having a designed plan, preventative medicine for their retirement money. And they're afraid to ask, I guess. Anyways.
Are they also afraid that I have such limited income now, I have a lot of expenses, hiring somebody like Pacific Financial Planners is going to cost me even more money. So why would I do that?
Bree, first off, we try to make up any fees we charge through better returns. And sometimes better returns is not losing money, because that's a cost. The market goes down 10%. If you lose 10% or even 20% or 5%, that's a cost. So it's free to talk. It's free to get the appointment. It's free to figure out. I mean, don't even come to me. Go to 2 or 3 people. Spend some time. Talk to 2 or 3 people. And there's a little thing in your head that'll tell you, yeah, this person, that person. But they should find out as opposed to doing this.
Absolutely, because doing that creates all-day anxiety.
You're the Ford Motor Company. You know you got a problem. You know there's some issue, but yet you ignore it. That's not a good idea.
All right, well, we're going to focus on income. I don't think we got through all of our slides, and there's more to talk about.
There is. Again, if people want to know, they can come to that financial forum. It's
That's
Thursday,
right, that's right.
3 to 5, Clubhouse 7. And again, if you're afraid to find out, go there. No, you don't have to sign in. You just show up for the coffee and cookies.
All right, Jerry.
And you can learn something, and you can learn from the people there.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Bree.
See you next time. Coming up next, we've got Springboks. Stay with me.